another firm came to us in family law firm and said, look, we're doing great, but I've got, 10 years left and I want a better exit. And I love this AI stuff. I don't know what to do with it. 10X my firm for an exit or set me up to sell. Sure. So I was like, well, great timing, because because our MSO model has outside investment tied to it. So funding leads and funding marketing efforts, funding operations, so that we can help those firms scale quicker with our team and our technology. And so with this guy now, we're rebuilding his entire infrastructure that had existed pretty much the same for about 25 years. Amicus is in the conversation.
You're kidding me.
We're ditching Amicus in this in favor of an agentic model. This guy is great. And we'll run the show with his team. He's got an established team, and we'll operate alongside and help scale the firm that way. So that's a different way so law firm advisor is a little bit, too vague from that
way too
vague.
I mean, you were way more integrated. I don't know about integrated. You were way more customizable you customize things more for the firm itself, it seems, which I think is incredible. Although you have your unique, what the MSO does is very unique in that it is very specific, and right. That's great. I wonder why aren't MSOs more common in the legal space? I
think they're coming quick. One, probably the ownership issues are like law firm owners, since we have that situation where outside funding is still looked at, outside of here. I mean, we're in Arizona here, you can have, with ABSs, we've got non-lawyer ownership, although those are now coming under fire.
Which is crazy how you start to see their companies leave the ABS model.
Right. Well, yeah, because you can also, in Arizona, the Supreme Court got rid of fee sharing. And so it's now anybody can share a fee without the regular parameters that we've seen, so a family law firm can, get a case from random person and say, hey, thanks a lot. I'm going to give you X number of dollars for your referral.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, they just erased the rule. And it was about 4 years ago, 2021.
Wow.
Yeah. So so a lot of times because I've had people come to me and say, hey, I want help with creating an ABS. And you really talk to them and it's like, well, you don't need an ABS. You just you can split fees now. And there's no, it's not even that there was some parameters put on it. The rule is gone. And so, think about that. So you deal with this, right? From the standpoint of referrals for cases, and you have to depending upon your jurisdiction, make sure is that referring party, or are you involved enough? What is it? What is that line as far as involvement to be able to properly share the fee? It doesn't matter. It could be I send you a case and I maybe remember the person's name, and you say thanks for the case. You can do whatever you want. You can say here's half the fee. Whatever you want to do with it, it's fair game.
What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's great. I think it's because it I think that the market probably has worked itself out in the way that people are going to give up a lot of money, and it could be a good marketing tool. So let's say you have, Billy has done this over time, and when you have her on, where I forget the numbers on it, but send somebody a check and say thanks for the case. They don't ask for it; they just send it to them. Because that's a great marketing tool from the standpoint of let's say you send them a $300 check for a new case. That person's not gonna be like, well, I'm gonna, I can retire now off of this money. It's not that kind of money, but it says to the person oh, well, let me make sure they're top of mind. That's not a bad thing. I gave them a phone number, and I know that they're going to be taken care of because that firm does a good job. And so it's a great marketing tool, I think. And yeah, I can't imagine firms overcorrecting and giving away too much money, because that would be stupid from a
Well, why don't law
operations
firms
standpoint.
put up billboards and say, send us a case, we'll send you $50?
It'd be smart,
I mean, can you
Yeah.
legit do that in Arizona?
as far as I know.
That is interesting. If you are an Arizona law firm, I'm very curious to see if that's something that you could do. Because why wouldn't you?
Well, yeah, I don't
Why
think
would you
there's-
not do that then?
Right, and I mean, I don't know. I don't think there's any advertising rules on it, but there's no like limitations on the split now.
I will say this: I have my reservations, and I'm trying to figure out if this is my bias because I'm a lawyer, or if it's because I don't know. I'm sure there's some bias tied into this. My reservations about this are that you're not referring them because they're the best lawyer. You're referring them because you're getting money out of it, and that is my concern. Unless it was you paid them like some sort of percentage of it, like on an injury case, like
Right.
you're going to send it to the best lawyer because they're going to get you the best cut,
Correct.
right?
Right.
Now, if you're getting a flat fee, that's different.
Right.
So I guess that's where my reservations are on it. You're kind of operating in the Wild West. It's kind of interesting.
It is. It's interesting out here, and the challenge where I see it is, as I work with firms around the country, you know, I don't work with a lot of Arizona firms. Most of my firms are elsewhere, and it's like you can't do the same things. Like, you know, I would work with a firm and take a percentage of operations, you know, to
Sure.
run their show. But you can't do that anywhere else, like from the standpoint of any other state at this point.
So I want to know more about this MSO because we work with a lot of doctors because of personal injury that are involved in MSOs, which kind of my understanding what it's an MSO. Like for example, let's say we need an MRI facility, we need an ortho. Like it's standard. Here's like the standard case, right? They usually need like chiropractic care or physical therapy. They're going to need an MRI. They're going to need an ortho. They're going to need someone for pain management, right? Those are like the typical stuff.
Yep.
A lot of times there are these MSOs in St. Louis that you just go to them and they run all the operations, and then they have these doctors that sometimes are owners of the MSO, part owners, or they're just contracted with them, right? So you have this one little unit, and they kind of run everything, and then the doctor comes in, does the evaluation, does the treatment, and that's all the doctor really does.
Correct.
How does yours work?
So ours is early, but it's, you know, it does have a lawyerly answer, and it depends.
Mm-hmm.
So in some scenarios, it is, we've got everything. We're going to employ the staff and rent it, like employ attorneys and rent it to the law firm.
Rent it to the law firm?
Yeah, like an employment relationship,
Okay.
or like you have with staffing companies where you and I've done this. I've actually done this for a tech company in the past years ago that did not have a U.S. presence. They weren't set up in the U.S. yet, so we hired a salesperson for them, employed them, and then they like paid us for their time, and so we kind of rented them out to them, and so they did sales for them. Mm-hmm. Same model where, you know, we can because we have the infrastructure from, you know, payroll and, you know, benefits and all the things that, you know, maybe the law firm, especially the one that I'm thinking of, is new, and so we're keeping, because we're raising it from scratch. Like literally this morning, I was giving feedback on the website for it to go live today.
Wow.
And so that law firm is going to be real lean on purpose. Lawyers, website, and, you know, payment processing, but everything else will be run through the firm or through the MSO. And so we'll, you know, employ the staff, we'll employ the lawyers that are W-2 lawyers and then the firm will pay, you know, reimburse us for the costs on that. So that's the extreme where like the case management software, the operating system that we're, you know, creating is an AI first, like we're just, because we're just like, all right, we'll make this agentic, we'll do all the fun stuff that's new and meaningful. So that's on that aspect of it. Other ends of it are, you hire us to work with your existing team, and our team will complement and fill in gaps where they are. And you'll have existing technology and we'll integrate in. If you don't want to just kind of wipe everything clean, we'll operate within that system and put our tech on top of it and integrate in, which, because part of this is a big, interesting experiment because it's new. Mm-hmm. And so I don't want to, and with technology changing so fast with, every week we're seeing like, well, is SaaS dead? Well, this one came out with this everything is going so crazy. Like, I don't want to get locked into a platform. I want to.
Sure.
But I can't because everything's changing so fast. And so we are experimenting with these different models because people are coming into us in different places as well.
Does this work with both litigation and transactional firms?
Yes.
Is it easier with one over the other?
No, they're the same. They're both hard.
So this is really hard for me to comprehend with that part, because I would think that litigation would be much harder because of and maybe I'm completely wrong about this. It seems like you need more people for the litigation type firms, at least with the way we operate, because I mean, you're dealing with, you got the pre-lit side, which is drastically different from the litigation side.
Yep.
And so to me, it seems like you would need a lot more people, so it would just be more complicated.